It's right by the Walmart in Springville. So that's going to be coming up next week.
Cool, exciting. I bet you have lots of buyers on that. Who else has any wants or needs?
I am in need of a home, a 3 to 4 bedroom in Pleasant Grove, the northeast side, for under $400,000 if possible. We've been looking for several months, but they go so fast and they're all under multiple offers. We're just having trouble finding one that's gonna fit, you know, that they can get into. So if you hear of anything, let me know.
Cool. Who else has any wants and needs? Anybody? Okay, let's go back to let's see, what are you grateful for this week? Come on, it's the month of November. Let's hear some things that you're grateful for.
I'm grateful to be on this call and to be on all the calls when I can. I'm grateful that you have the trainings.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, anybody else have any gratitude moments they want to talk about today?
I do have a gratitude moment, and it's okay. So I got an office at the Spanish, and I'm so grateful because I can focus. I was working from home and it was really hard, but now I can really focus and concentrate, and there's no noise, and I don't feel like I need to go to the fridge every other half an hour or something like that. So I am so grateful for that, and I just love it. I think it's awesome, and it helps me do my what I love doing better, much better. So I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, Carmina. That we love to have you in the office too, so that's awesome. Okay, anybody else have any gratitude moments they want to talk about today? Okay, we got a quiet bunch today. Let's move on. Let's talk about the broker moment. Okay, the division issued a citation to an agent for continuing to market a property for sale when the listing agreement was canceled, and also for advertising the availability of real estate in a false or misleading and deceptive manner. And then third, advertising property without the sale of or written consent to the property owners. So that is a violation of Utah law and administrative rules, and the citation assessed with that fine is $1,000. So we don't want you to be charged $1,000 for making a mistake like that. If somebody says to you, hey, I've got something that I want to sell, but I don't really want to list it or anything, so why don't you just let people know? Is that allowed? Come on, I just told you the answer. No, it is not allowed. You are not allowed to say, oh, I've got a pocket listing, or I've got a friend that has a house that he would be interested in selling, or a piece of land or anything like that without a listing agreement. So we don't want you to be fined up to $1,000. There's your broker moment. You are smarter today because of that. Okay, moving on. Here's our weekly classes. If you want to take a second and write that down, we won't be announcing them. So take a good look at the screen. Those are our weekly classes this week and next week. Okay, moving on. Here is our closers for the week. Hopefully you see your name on that list. Again, we are not going to go down through all of them because it seems like everyone checks out during our announcements. So way to go, closers. Let's see everybody give you your silent clap. Oops.
Hey, Jen, would you go back one slide, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
You bet. Take note of those. Okay, last announcement is well, not last, almost last, is we have a committee that put together this Max Gift Children's Cancer Foundation for the end of the year, and our company goal is to raise $75,000. So what that means to you is we want you to tell your friends, tell your family that Presidio is trying to raise $75,000 for children with cancer. And the foundation's name is Max Gift. So on our actual page, PresidioUtahRE.com, like our page, you will see this donation gift box here. Does everyone see that? Okay, so all they have to do is go to our website, click there, and it takes you right to how to donate to our PayPal account, okay? And then we will be writing a giant check for the foundation when we are done with this cause, and we're really excited about it. So please, please, please get involved, get your friends, your family, your clients, everybody to donate. Okay, we're moving back to this last announcement. In order to make sure your numbers are correct for our annual awards banquet, you're responsible for getting us the following: the number of buyers closed, the number of sellers closed, and your volume during the period of December 30th, 2019 to November 30th, 2020. So that means you can turn in your numbers to Alex, our payroll department, which is right there at presidiopayroll@gmail.com, between December 1st and 5th. So if you don't turn your numbers in, then you'll be trusting ours and you won't be coming back to us and saying, you were off by something, okay? So make sure you get those to us. Now I want to announce our presenter today. She is with our preferred title company. It is called Traveling Title. And she happens to be my identical twin sister as well. So her name is Jill Holliday, and oh, you know what, Jill, not quite yet. I forgot. We have we also have a guest today. Let's see, is Harmony on? I don't see Harmony on, darn it. Okay, Amy, did you have anything for White Knight?
Yeah, I was just gonna announce really quick. If any of you friends, family, clients, we are on the last leg of our giveaway for our 50-inch, not 50 feet, 50-inch smart TV. We're hoping to wrap that up. So if you want to submit a quote request, you'll be in that drawing. You guys, you want this TV on your wall for the holidays. I promise. It's awesome.
You do want that TV. Okay, I'm gonna turn the time over to Jill Holliday then. Thank you so much, Jill.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, good. So I'm new at this, so let me see if I can figure out how to share my screen.
Just down at the bottom on Zoom where it says the green button, share screen.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, you guys, bear with me for just a second. Okay. Well, hi, you guys. I'm here because I have taken some photography classes. I've done some photography stuff, and so Jen has asked me to kind of share with you guys a little bit of the stuff I've learned as far as making some headshots for you guys. So I know that getting headshots is huge in you guys' business because, you know, you're marketing yourself as a real estate agent, I think, and even insurance and stuff. So putting a good picture together, and one of the things you'll learn in today's our Zoom meeting here is that you want to look what's the word, like relatable to people so that they want to talk to you, they want to feel lives, right? So the name of our program today is Headshots That You'll Actually Like. So, and I am going to test you guys a few things while we go through this, so pay attention. Okay, so let's start with this. A lot of times you go into a photographer or you have a photographer come to you and you don't know what to wear. So you're going to learn a lot today as far as what is called negative space in a shot. So the first thing you need to remember is that loose and baggy clothes can make you actually look broader because the camera lens bends. It's actually rounded. So it's always going to make you look broad unless you learn how to stand and how to wear your clothes and how to use negative space. So we'll learn about that today. And please feel free to stop me if you guys have any questions. When you wear more fitting clothes, it makes you appear more narrow and it helps you with some of the angles that you're going to probably stand and use. I'm going to show you a couple of YouTube videos that will help you kind of visualize it more than just kind of step-by-step bullet points here. So as far as coloring goes, you really do want to pick a color that you think that you look best in. Obviously, if you want a really professional picture, muted colors tend to be good, and you don't want to wear any graphic shirts or something that distracts you from what you're selling, which is your face. You're selling your eyes, you're selling the window to your soul. So, okay, number 4, black does look sleek and it does give the sense of authority. It can be slimming also, but you do want to make sure that you wear colors that you feel comfortable in. Number 5, don't be afraid to use incidental props in your pictures. I've seen people hold their glasses. I've seen people use briefcases, and you'll see I have some pictures of some of your very own there at Presidio that I'm going to show you that use some props, and it just makes the picture look so great. Okay, does anyone have any questions starting right there? Nothing. Okay. Okay, let's look at this YouTube video from a woman named Gia Goodrich. It's really going to be helpful for you to visualize this. So, and I don't want to not do ads, so bear with me.
Jill, there's no audio on that video.
Yeah, can't hear.
I guess I don't know how to share
Do you
the.
have to turn your computer audio up really loud or no?
Okay, let me try that. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, well then I will share the audio with you with my own voice. So she's talking here. Anything that's closer to the camera is bigger. And if you push it away, it's going to look smaller. So if there's parts of your bodies that you would like to emphasize or parts of your bodies that you wouldn't like to emphasize, you stick it away. And that's including if you're doing just a face shot. If you want to emphasize, if you have a greater chin or a jawline that's great, you'll stick it closer to the camera. So she's saying shift your weight if you're standing, which even if you're doing headshots, standing brings energy. So you're going to want to stand anyways. So even if the frame is only here, standing is really good because it helps you kind of relax everything. Shoulders drop, everything. So she says shift your weight. And by shifting your weight, you create angles. So pay attention to angles. What I want you guys to remember as you watch the video is that if you put a level on your shoulders and it went straight like this, you don't want that in a photo. You want the angle like this. So you'll drop a shoulder if you shift weight. So she'll show you a little bit about that. She's saying pockets are so good because it does help you to relax your shoulders because your hands are being held in something. So putting your hands in pockets is so good in photos. She's saying if we address the bottom half of a person, it helps to address the face in the photo. So putting your hips back and hands in pocket, keeping your elbows back, and she says pull up through the base of your spine as if there's a string in the back of you, and you just pull up. And it helps when your photographer tells you to pull up like there's a string on your spine, you tend to put your shoulders up like this. So she'll tell you to drop your shoulders because it'll create elongation in your neck. So you don't want toy soldier arms, you want to create, it creates thickness in your arms if you're just straight down. So she's going to talk to you a lot about negative space. Sorry, guys. So you see that negative space. It's just a slight bend in an elbow. So you create negative space, and eventually you'll see triangles. She says triangles are the most flattering thing in a photo. So I'm going to show you guys some examples of some of the photos I've taken of some of your own agents. So being head on to the camera creates width, like this. This is the straight width, okay? So if you turn it, it actually starts to show a better angle for anybody, to flatter anybody, including men. So shift your weight, putting hands in pockets. Yes, she does say that when you do put your hands in your pockets, sometimes people will sink and they're kind of hunch over, but that's where you have to remember that you pull that string and you stand up straight and drop your shoulders, okay? So she's talking about relaxing your abdominal wall, which will make you look like you have a pouch or kind of a belly, even if you don't have one of those in normal settings. So she says the secret is not to say take it or suck in, because when you suck in, everything here gets tense. You lift up like this, sucking in, but she says instead you say tighten your abdominal wall, because everybody knows how to do that. It's kind of like doing a crunch. Everybody practice doing it. Tighten your abdominal wall. If you just tighten that, that makes your stomach pull in without the kind of sucking. So you're wanting something that feels effortless and relaxed. And a lot of people come to photos and they're nervous. They're afraid because of that curve in the lens that makes us look wider than we are sometimes, or more awkward than we are sometimes. So she's talking about, like, move yourself around when you're at a photo session and start to feel relaxed. She'll even ask her clients to walk forward and walk backward and lift an arm and stuff, just to kind of get some movement so you feel relaxed. She says face a corner and then turn to look, and she'll make you do it 3 or 4 times. And the more you do it, the more you relax. So she's saying take a step back and then walk towards the camera, because then it feels like a natural pose of a walking rather than like posing it and making you just stand there. So she'll show you this example here where she had this woman just walk. So she's now talking about how to photograph somebody with muscles. And so she's like, and this is more for obviously not headshots, but just to kind of get the motion in there, something natural, something flowing. I'll skip ahead on that one because that's not. Okay, so now she's talking about connecting the chin to the shoulder. So she'll have you swing back and forth like that and just decide. So when you have your arm here, it creates a big mass space so that you'll see a big arm, whether you're a male or female. And sometimes you want that if you're a male. If you're a female, typically you don't. So she kind of tells you about how you'll lift your arm away from your body, but you don't know in the picture that you've done that. And placing a hand in whatever form is, it depends on how big your hand is or how big your arm is. And the photographer can help decide what pose looks best for you there. So she says, engage your hands and then shift that spine up again. And she calls this look the owl, where your neck looks thick. She says, if you bring your shoulder up, it tends to loosen this here for the owl position, okay? So in a headshot like that, you do want the back shoulder dropped so that you can pull this and elongate your neck, okay? So what she's done with her sister there. Sorry. Okay, so she's saying if you've got curves and you're trying to do more than just a headshot, like a standing pose, she says, everybody's got angles and you can use them to your advantage. One of the ways that you can do that is creating an S shape with your body, which she's tending to do now. So she'll bend an elbow behind her, or again, put her hand in her pocket, and she creates the S curve with her body. And it accentuates the curves, which makes the eye kind of look at the curve, but focus on what's most important, which is your face. So here's the negative space stuff I was talking to you guys about. And you'll watch and see, she'll highlight it, which is so nice for us to see. And then I'll show you, I did an example with my daughter with some pictures afterwards. I'll show you how we did this. So that line across there is how wide she looks facing right on. So she turns to the side and there's still width there. So she's counterbalancing it by creating negative space. And this is where the clothing option comes in, where if you're wearing too baggy of clothes, you can't create that negative space because the clothes will kind of get in the way. So there's the triangle. She's got a triangle between her legs, a triangle under her arm, and creating triangles because that's so flattering in a picture will make your picture turn out beautifully. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to show you guys some examples on how. So here's a picture of my daughter that I did last night. And it gives you an example of how clothing choice and the pose affects the overall image. So she chose this baggy dress, and she chose this. I didn't choose this for her. I told her to go get dressed nicely. And she was sick, so bear with her. She's got a cold or something. So anyways, she wore this baggy dress, and I said, okay, just stand natural and normal. And so on the left-hand side, you'll see she's standing there just naturally. But look at that, the line of how wide she looks in that dress. And she weighs probably about 105 pounds. So she's a tiny person. So on the right-hand side, I said, okay, now imagine this level on your shoulders, and I want you to tilt it because it'll give an angle. And I want you to pull the dress in the front so that it shows the S curve of her back. And so the picture on the right, same dress, just a different pose. So, and creating that angle, what do you guys think? You think the one on the right's better than the one on the left? Yeah? Okay.
Definitely.
Example number 2. So it's that same dress that my daughter was wearing, but I threw on a jacket to kind of break it up a little bit because it was just one plain color. So I said, throw on this jacket, and again had her pose just whatever felt naturally. And that's what the YouTube video that we just watched, those arms that she has is the toy soldier arms. It's just not flattering, and it's straight on. And if you put a level on her shoulders, it just goes straight, which creates a lot of wide angles. So on the right-hand side, I had her put her hand on her hip, and we created that negative space in her arm, like in the arm and her curve of her back. So the one on the right's better, right? More flattering, although she's wearing the same thing, although it's not the best picture because it's not completely edited, but just for Zoom purposes, I wanted you guys to see that. So in that last video that we watched, I'm sorry, I don't know how to share the sound with you. She did talk a lot about shifting your weight and how shifting your weight while you're standing, even if I dropped this picture on the right of my daughter and just took it just as a headshot, that angle that she's standing at is so much better even just in a headshot. And you can see the difference again, creating that S curve, okay? Anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Well, I've got another 2 more YouTube videos and I'm scared to share them if we don't have audio, but was it okay if I'm just kind of talking over it and sharing it with you?
Yeah, just make sure now the volume's all the way down if you talk over it, because we could hear a little bit of her and it was too much noise going on.
Okay, yep, got it. Okay. This woman is only going to share 3 things with us, and it's just kind of going to reiterate the same stuff that we just heard, that we just talked about in the last video. She is talking about professional headshot poses. So you'll see some of her examples and how she does it, okay? I'm just going to skip ahead till she gets to the content. Okay, so she says if you're standing and you're having just a headshot, you'll see her arms feel really, I mean, you're not going to take a picture of the arms, but the arms back like this makes you forced to drop your shoulders and roll your shoulders back. So she tells her clients or her subjects that she's shooting to put their arms out like this. And you don't see it in the picture. It just looks like this at the headshot. So you can see that image right there. Her arms are out, but you don't see it. So a perfect headshot, believe it or not, you can pose your body below in a funny way, but the headshot part will be perfect. So here she's talking about a gentle grasp of the arm, a gentle grasp, even men alike, men and women, because you create an image of too much authority if you're tight like this, if it's real tight. But if you're really loose, then you're more approachable, which is what you want in your headshot photos for real estate. You want to be approachable. So she's talking about, again, relaxing the hand. In photos, people tend to do funny things with their hands. I've noticed it when I shoot a lot of people, they tend to do funny things with their hands. It's because they're awkward. You know, they're feeling awkward about it. They don't know what to do with their hands. You're thinking, well, what do I do? Do I put them here? Do I do this? And so she'll kind of have you shake your hands and relax them a little bit and just move them around. And that's why we tend to put hands in pockets sometimes, because they'll be awkward. So here's a couple of those still shot images that she showed you just with that relaxed hold. And then number 3, this is actually a front facing image, which I said is not very flattering, but she curves one arm behind her. So she's creating a little bit of an angle. And again, one shoulder is slightly higher than the other, okay? And it creates kind of an S curve, although she is front facing. Kind of shocking that you can get that pose. So put that elbow back and it makes it more flattering, and then create a little space on the front arm so it's not pushed against your body and making it look more wide. Okay. Just to show you a few more pictures, like still shots of how they turn out. That negative space between her arm right there is what you're aiming for, some negative space. So, okay. Now let's go and see. Her name was Gladdy. So some Gladdy takeaways. Number 1, arms wide open. That's the arms wide open pose that she showed us. That opens up your body and it corrects your posture. Or the gently folded arms, okay, where you're going to gently put your hand. And that front facing, with putting weight on your back leg, although you're front facing, the weight shifts and you have a hand on a hip or a hand away from an arm away from the body. And that will create a professional picture that is flattering to any body shape. Okay, so here's your test. Let's see what you've learned so far. What are some differences that you see in these images, and what is the positive and negative?
Well, the picture, are we supposed to answer?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the picture on the right, she's just more open and approachable. The other one, on the left, she's kind of hiding.
Yeah, you're right. That's absolutely right. She does seem more approachable, and she seems more friendly in the other picture, believe it or not, although she's showing the same smile. And I purposely told her the same way because I wanted to hear that you guys could see that she was open and she was more approachable. So, and also in the second picture on the right, there's more angles there. You do see that shoulder thing I told you, the angle with her elbow, which is just more flattering in a picture, those triangles that we see. Anybody else want to add anything else on this?
With the picture on the right with her arm on the chair, it actually gives more dimension, whereas the left, it looks like she's slouching. So her arm on the chair actually helps her stand more posture correctly.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that, because when the photographer tells you to relax, you'll tend to have the picture on the left. You will relax and you'll slunch a little bit. You'll say, okay, I'll relax. And you'll slunch over a little bit. But what the last YouTube video that we just watched, where she says, put your hands behind you, it corrects your posture. It forces you to sit up straight. If everybody does that right now, just puts their hands aside like this, that pose, you feel your posture being corrected and you actually sit up straight. And so my daughter's just hunched over there and she just kind of looks like a teenager, like a typical teenager. Okay, next. What do you notice different in these two pictures? This is another headshot that I took for a lady the other day, and she was determined not to do the pose on the right. She said she doesn't like that power pose, which is on the right. So tell me what you like and what you don't like here. Anybody see any of the clues that we've learned? Or you like them both?
Again, more friendly on the right. And even though she's got her arms folded, she's just more alive. I don't know. There's better words, but yeah, just more alive, more friendly, more happy.
And you can see the S curve on the negative space on the right, but on the left, she's got the soldier arm.
Good job. You guys are listening and learning. Yep, that S curve is so much more flattering on her body shape. She looks phenomenal, I think, in the right picture because of that S curve. And
She does.
I remember I've done a couple of headshots with a bunch of real estate agents, and a lot of women don't like to have their arms folded. And so they'll say, I don't want to do the power pose. And I'll say to them, no, really, you'll like it, I promise. And so she didn't want to do it.
Did we lose her? Shoot. Okay, well, let me see if I can share some of my photos that my sister has done for me. Because she is literally the most high demand photographer. She constantly does photography shoots for people because they love her. She can see these angles. It's almost like a gift. I can't really see them, but she sees them so well. And it's so funny when she tells me to do, let me just text her, make sure she knows. Okay, she's hopping back on. She'll tell me, okay, Jen, scoot your butt back into the chair and lean forward and tuck your arm back and do this. She has like 20 different things. And it feels so awkward in the photo. It feels like I'm like, Jill, people will literally be like, that is so ugly. What are you trying to do? You look like you're trying to be a supermodel or something. And it turns out so natural because she knows that that flat camera has to have certain things going towards it like this. And so it's really funny, but obviously all my realtors know when she can come up from St. George and do photographers, they are all there. I mean, do our headshots, they're all there because she really knows this. And it's funny because she's teaching her daughter that you've seen the picture, how to do all this photography. And she's still young, she's 17. And so she's kind of learning it all. And she's too shy to tell people, tuck your arm back. You're not going to like your arm, because she thinks that woman's going to go, you're calling my arm fat. But I promise you, as women and men alike, a good photo is worth $1 million. In fact, that's why realtors keep the same photo for years, right? Because we got a good one. Even though it was 20 years ago, we got a good one. So that's where, you know, us as realtors, don't be offended if your photographer says, put your arm back, twist your body this way. Just like that picture that the girl, she just showed the picture, I have a wide body this way. And if I should go head on, I look 10 times fatter than I already am. And so I have to turn my body and I have to shrink my shoulders in and I have to do things that make my body look the way you would see me in person. It's really weird how it works, but let me see if I can find any photos. Does anybody have any thoughts or comments while we're kind of waiting for Jill? She's trying to hop back on.
I would say very helpful hints, very, very helpful tips.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, when is she coming up for more pictures?
I know, right? We'll get her scheduled. With her right now, she's so busy because she's in title. And so she, just like us, we had a really busy season. And she is really trying to figure out how to, she can be here on a Saturday, but it's super hard to fit it in a weekday. So if you guys are willing to come to the office on a Saturday to get your headshot, she would absolutely be happy to do it. So, okay.
That would be a great idea. I like that.
I would like that too.
Okay, so let's see what I have. I got a new computer, so maybe it's hiding all my photos. Yeah, I guess so. Well, I guess I'll just show this one, share screen. This photo she took of me maybe 4 years ago, and of course it's the power pose. And some of you might actually argue that that's a little too tight of a power pose, but I'm a principal broker, I have to be, right? No, so that's one that, again, she had me use that curve where I was turned to the side a little bit and had my head tilted, and then turn my chin. She always says, turn your chin, lift your head, turn your head, and she gives you all these little tweaks that help you really like the photo. I mean, that photo turned out great. And so she's just so good at seeing those things, and a good photographer will see all those. So let's see if I can figure out another photo that she's taken of me and my husband, maybe. Yep, definitely not on my new computer. Well,
I'm back on though, Jen.
okay, perfect.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. Little technical difficulties. But okay, we were here at this last shot and we were talking about how that S curve and that power pose, and she ended up loving that picture much more than the other one.
I just showed them the power pose that you did of me, and same thing, and showed them how turning to the side was a lot better for my body type, because my body looks wide off the front.
Yeah, most people do. Like I said, that the camera lens bends, it curves, so that we can get more. The reason it does that is so that we can get more in the frame. But with that, bodies don't usually look good with that bend. So the next YouTube video, we won't watch it, but it's just a man named Scott who talks about posing as well. He always says standing is always good in your photos. Like in that image that you just shared, Jen, you were standing. And it gives a good energy to the image. I'll show you some pictures of some of you guys' very own Presidio agents that I had sitting, and I actually figure out a way to make them look very beautiful and good sitting as well. So sitting is also good, but if you want energy in your picture, stand. So he says, lean into the frame. And that is something I usually tell somebody when I'm taking their picture, is to lean towards me like this. And I said, and no, I always say to my clients, it's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel like you're just leaning right into the camera. But it's so flattering from your core if you can lean in. And it also creates those angles like we talked about, okay? So then I usually tell my subjects to put their forehead towards the camera. And I know that a lot of people are afraid to do that because of this, because sometimes you create a double chin. But if you put your forehead and stretch your neck out like this, your double chin does go away. And everybody, no matter how, and I have some pictures of my daughter who, like I said, she's 105 pounds. Even she can get a double chin if she's standing at the wrong angle. So everybody has double chins, okay? We all do, no matter how thin or how big we are. So you put your forehead out and you stretch your neck. Put your forehead towards the camera. If you do that shoulder lean, the angle shots make you more approachable. And if you relax your hands, like I said, or put in pockets, okay? There's the
Jill?
mind again. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a question. So
Yeah.
sometimes when I take headshots, the photographer is usually taller than me, and so it seems like I'm looking up instead of straightforward. Especially when they do close-ups. What is the correct angle? You know, that could flatter your face best. Is it a little bit up from your level or where your face is, or
You know what?
straight?
Such a good question. That's such a good question, because if you think about how all the teeny boppers and even us take our selfies, we take them above like this.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Okay.
It's flattering to look up. It is. It does elongate your neck. It does actually makes your eyes more bigger towards the camera,
Bigger.
which is what you want. So it is good to look up. But there's also, I'm going to show you this image I took of one of my other escrow officers in my office. And I made her put her chin down so that, because she has the most beautiful eyes. And I made her put her eyes towards the camera. And with some faces, it's good. And I met her right on with the camera this way. I wasn't above her. I wasn't below her. I was right on. So with somebody who might be shorter, and if all the photographers you've ever been with are taller than you, you can actually, you can sit up on a chair that's higher, or if your photographer can kneel or get down. But I will say, I mean, how have you felt about your photos? Have you felt that looking up is flattering for you?
I think looking up, I feel like when I smile and then I look up, I feel a little bit not as, I guess, professional, but maybe if I'm looking straight at the level of the camera, I feel like I'm looking at actually somebody rather than putting my head up a little bit. It could be more flattering as far as the eyes, you're right, but the way I feel is like I'm looking up at somebody. But maybe I guess I'm used to speaking with people at the level of my eyesight, and maybe it's just mental, but I'm not sure.
No, I'm actually glad you said that, because I think you're right. I think that looking up is like a selfie, and it's not a professional.
Right.
I mean, if you can imagine taking selfies and putting them on your business cards, it wouldn't be
right.
So I think you're right. I think there's a difference between looking up, looking professional, but I'll show you some examples in just a second, okay? So you can see.
Okay, thank you.
So last one is just incidental props. So let's look at some examples. So here's your very own Presidio agents, and I have all three of these women sitting in chairs. I don't know if you guys know Heather Brinkerhoff on the left. I can't, Tori, and I can't remember.
Audrey.
And I have them in chairs, but I do have angles with their arms. I'm right on with their face. I'm right up in their face. I'm not above them or below them. And it's a professional look, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I can see that.
All three of them are professional looks. Even though one has polka dots, one of them has bricks behind it. You know what I mean? Like, even though there are different flavors of pictures, they're still professional. Okay, so moving on to this one. There's some of your agents as well. So with men, I have standing gives energy, although over on the left, you see, although he's standing, he still seems very approachable because he's got that angle with his shoulder instead of a straight on, you know, like kind of a dominant pose where I'm dominating this, you know, he's got the angle, which makes him seem approachable, okay? And over on the right, believe it or not, we created an S curve with a man. So you can see Clark Weekly on the right, he's got his arms folded with the power pose and he's got that S curve. And it's even flattering on a guy. So, and then there's poses like the guy in the middle where he's just, I had him lean down on his knees so that he does seem approachable. He's coming towards somebody and it's the pictures are, I mean, the camera's right on with their eyes. Okay. So this is my escrow officer in my office. And this is the one where I told her to put her chin down. And she's like a healthy weight. She's not somebody who's rail thin. She's not somebody who's heavy, but she's self-conscious of the fact that if she puts her chin down, she thinks she's going to have a double chin. But look how beautiful this picture turned out because her eyes are everything, right? So, and I wasn't standing above her. Does anybody have any comments about this one? No. Okay.
I love it, actually. I think it's beautiful.
Good. I love
Super
it too.
pretty.
She's beautiful, huh?
Mhm.
Okay, so there's some negative space in these two pictures, but I want you guys to kind of critique this and say, what are some positive and negatives in the two pictures next to each other? Throw it out there.
I feel like the one on the left, she could turn a little more to her right.
Towards the camera more.
Yeah,
Yeah, because guess what she was doing? She was sucking her tummy in.
yeah,
And one of the things we learned that if you suck your tummy in, everything else comes up here. And you look kind of like you're taking a breath, and you don't want to look that way. You want to look relaxed because it makes you look approachable in a business. Right? So the one on the right is my assistant. And I said, just relax, just relax. And she relaxed. She's very relaxed. And I had that negative space with her arm in the back rather than in the front. And do you see the difference between the back arm rather than as opposed to the front arm? Yeah. Okay, we're almost done here. Here's some props, you guys. So one of your agents is on the left here, and she decided she wanted to carry a purse and a file folder. And how great is those props? Don't you think those turned out great?
gotta love Jen.
Looks fantastic, I think. And then the two real estate agents on the right side, they wanted to be, looking like they were working hard, like looking at documents, a real estate purchase contract in their pictures. So, and they were a team, so they wanted to be together. Okay, so here's some more props. I have one of your real estate agents on the left, and she wanted to focus on her niche, which was veterans. So she said, can we do it with an American flag? And I said, of course. So that was her prop in the left side. If you're thinking about a niche, like Clark Weekly, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's with your Presidio office in St. George. He did a shot with me with a Superman cape because his name is Clark, and he wanted to go out telling everybody that he's the Superman of the real estate world. So, and then just on the right, we've got props with the team again with a computer. So working hard. Here's some team pictures, you guys. We're almost finished. Just remember, if you're on a team or you're having two people in a picture or more than two people in a picture, being close together is always a good thing. It makes you feel like there's a connection between the two partners. So I had on the right-hand side, the real estate agent at the top leaned down. She was just standing before and doing her own pose or whatever, and it seemed very separate. So I said, lean down and act like you like your assistant. So she did. And it's a flattering picture there for them too. So last one, you guys, tell me the difference that you see behind leaning back and leaning forward in this picture. There's some distinctive differences I wanted to see if somebody would notice.
Well,
They definitely feel way more approachable.
On the right side?
Yeah.
Yep, that's good. Anything else?
I don't know. The thing that I noticed was, I think when you're leaning in, you're more unified. And I know the picture on the right is good, but I just feel like she's separating, even though they're together. I don't know.
That's actually good. That's great. I'm glad you've noticed that. I'm glad you noticed that. So one of the flattering things in pictures is that they tell photographers in photographer classes, if you're taking a newborn photo, which I take a lot of newborn photos, to shoot down the baby's nose this way. You never want to see nostrils. And in this left picture, you can see her nostril a little bit more because she's leaning back. In the right picture, she leans forward and you don't see nostrils, which is good. You see a little bit of his and but a little bit less than in the right. But I think you're right about the fact that they seem more connected in the left picture than they do in the right picture. Okay, you guys, now you're headshot experts. So go and get your photos taken, market your face, and sell houses like a boss.
I told everybody that if you could come up on a Saturday, if they'd be willing to come into the office on a Saturday, that you could get their headshots done for them.
I'd love to do that.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions for Jill?
Thank you,
Okay.
Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I expect to see the greatest photos ever that you're going to keep for 20 years on your business card. I just know it. Okay. Have a great week. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.